I really am not sure how most people have reacted. I personally was not a fan of the Harry Potter epilogue, mostly for the same reasons that Ariel expressed last week. The fact that it's like 20 years later sort of bugged me because I like to, envision for myself what the future of these characters' lives will be like. But and I also, I'm not into the whole Harry Jenny thing, but that's another story. But I never felt very satisfied with the Harry Potter epilogue. The Hunger Games epilogue, however, I absolutely adored, and I know that a lot of people actually did not like it. They didn't think that it was happy. They didn't think that it, concluded things well and wrapped things up well, but, I completely disagree.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Anyone? Let's open the floor here and have a full discussion about this. Crystal, you've read both books, obviously. What did you think about both of them, both epilogues?
I guess with Harry Potter, I kind of liked it, but it was a nice ending. It was, I don't know, it was nice. I didn't care as much for the movie version of the epilogue, but it was still good. Hunger Games, I totally agree. I thought it was the perfect ending. There's so many little things, like how she doesn't refer to her children by name. So it's kind of like she still hangs on to that disconnect with, like how she didn't want to have children and stuff like that. And I don't know, just the final line of the book, I loved it. I thought it was perfect.
Great. Does anyone? I'm not gonna play devil's advocate. I actually apparently I'm in a big minority here when I say that I really loved both epilogues. But maybe I have a soft spot for kind of happier, heartwarming endings. I love the end of the Harry Potter movie too. That just completely zapped me. I loved it.
I thought it was good since they refilmed it. Did you see the earlier pictures when they were like super old? They looked like they were 60 instead of almost 40. I thought they looked a lot better.
I love the fact that they actually, I think a lot of that had to come out of the fact that, they were filming in a place where, it was public, people had seen it, people posted pictures all over the place. The negative reaction to how old they look, some people were like, well, it doesn't matter how old they look. It doesn't really, but then you get the strong negative vibe, people saying they look too old, and the next thing you know, they're coming in and Emma's saying, that they're reshooting over Christmas. And it's like, okay. So it's like it was like they listened to the fans and said, well, wait a second, maybe this isn't quite, when they finally see it on film, they're looking at it, maybe we didn't quite get that right. But I wanted to jump in. Adam, I completely love both epilogues. It's really, and I don't know if it's completely different reasons or what, but as far as the Harry Potter epilogue, I love J.K. Rowling so much. I need to know every detail of these characters. I want to know, I'm one of those ones where she had said, I'm probably one of the reasons why she wrote the epilogue, because I'm one of those fans that I want her to tell me what, these characters are. I want the canon. I want to know who's with who. I want to know all these details. I want to know that, that Neville teaches at Hogwarts or whatever. I want to know these things. And she's one of those things where I mentioned in an interview, she's like, well, if I don't tell them, they're going to, hound me until I do tell them. So I'm one of those people, I guess. But, I thought the epilogue for Harry Potter was touching, was perfect. I loved the parallels to Sorcerer's Stone. I loved the connections that were made, even to this new generation of characters, balancing back to things that had happened. But when it comes to Hunger Games ending, it's weird because, I always call it the saddest happy ending in, ever, because it is hopeful. There is hope in the epilogue, but it's so honest and it's so true to the situation that like a Harry Potter-esque epilogue would not have worked in that situation. So it's, I think in both cases, to me, they're just true to the story, and that's why I love them.
I think my problem with the Harry Potter epilogue, and mind you, I love Harry Potter. Like I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, but my problem with the epilogue is it was too perfect. It was all rainbows and kittens, and everybody's married, and we have these beautiful babies that we've named after everybody we've known that's died. Their children are basically like a graveyard, and it, you know, it's kind of too much in a way. I like a little bit of mystery. I like to be able to kind of create the world, and like other people have said, I like to be able to imagine what happened, and that isn't really given to you. Where in the Hunger Games, I feel like there's more of that, and it also feels truer to the book in the sense that this terrible, traumatizing thing has happened, and it hasn't gone away years later. It's still there. Where in Harry Potter, it's just like, oh, we've forgotten all about it, and we're happy now.
You know, I think you touched upon what I don't like about the Harry Potter one. I mean, I love it, but there's like something not quite right with it, and I think what you said is about how it was a little too happy is exactly how I feel. Because I think what I don't like is how he named his son Albus Severus. To me, I don't know. I didn't really care for that. I just that he put both of their names and he calls him that too. And I don't know. It's just that didn't feel quite right to me for some reason.
Does it feel wrong to anyone else that their first two children are named after a married couple? Or is it just me?
What is
James and Lily?
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm the minority here, but I love the ending. I mean, maybe I'm just a sap who gets really caught up in this concept of the passing of time and life having a revolution, and you know, it all comes back to the same point again. But I thought there was just something wistfully beautiful about here you have them, you know, little Albus Severus going off to Hogwarts again, just like Harry, hoping to end up in Gryffindor with the same fears. You know, it's sort of like a return to childhood again, which is why I think all of us, not to get very deep, but we read these books as adults, many of us on here, because we want to reconnect with our childhood and believe that we live in a world that has some fantasy and magic to it. And to me, that's what that ending does. But I had a big argument with my French roommate about this. Apparently, the French think this is way too cliche for their taste. But call me an American sap, whatever. I love it. I'm sticking with it. And I was very moved by the ending. So, you know, maybe, I think, Ariel, at least you're on board with me, right? I'm not alone here.
Wow. I'm of two minds. One being that anything that J.K. Rowling puts to paper, I'm going to love, period. And two,
what about the digital paper? What about the Pottermore stuff? Does it apply to that too?
Yes. I mean, like, the woman is wonderfully talented, and she has changed not only my life, but the lives of so many people, and also, like, the entire children's publishing industry. Whatever she feels like writing, I'm going to love. But that doesn't mean that I can't, like, criticize it also. I mean, you know, I was, like, last week, I was saying how I really dislike epilogues that go too far in the future. You know, but I would have loved to know that they were doing well and fine 1-2 years later, you know. I did think that naming your children after all the dead was a bit much, but I understood why she did it and why it was done that way. You know, because a lot of people, like, I mean, I think it's almost like, I don't like get blamed for this, but, like, you know, you name your firstborn son after your father, you know, so then you have, like, two people in the same family with the same name, and that gets confusing.